Shalom and good day all, this is Tehillim29 back again for another indie comic review, and in this indie comic review I'm covering Blade in the Dark, issue 4. We also have the next issue of Edenfrost by Amit Tischler, and last but not least, Mech Cadets issue 5. I'll now get things organised for the first one that I'll be reviewing. So as we begin to move into the first story, being Blade in the Dark, does this cover in any way, shape or form connect to something that is happening inside of the story? In some essence it does, to which I give it a 7 out of 10. It's now time to move in relation to the internal art as we have a look around the beginning, middle and of course the end, and also what's happening story-wise with the characters. So as we begin to move into the beginning of the story, we have one of the demons and Rook basically working together as he seeks to freeing his sister, who is under the power of a goddess, or an evil goddess. We advance a little bit further within the story, to which we get a little bit of bloodshed and injury between characters. And last but not least, we move towards the end, to which we get Masuku, who has now come to face another character within the story in order to try to free his sister. So for the internal art, I give it a 7 out of 10. Now it's time to move in relation to the area of the story rating. First things first, do we get any indication where this is, what time that this is taking place? No, we don't. Next is location, no indication of location, and because of that I am going to start to deduct points. Next is the cast of characters, to which we have Rook, Masuku, Safina, Magnus, and last but not least the character of Ember, who was brought up. The overall story rating in this I give a 6 out of 10, as this story is starting to drop off for me, and it really feels like if it doesn't pick up soon, I might have to drop the series. So as we jump into the next comic, it is Edenfrost issue 2 by Amit Tischler. First things first, does this cover in any way, shape or form connect to something that is happening inside with the story? Sure enough it does, to which I give it a 7.5 out of 10. We will now move to having a look at the internal art as we have a look around the beginning, middle and of course the end, and also what's happening story-wise with the characters. So as the story begins, we get to see something that is happening with the character of Alexander, and this feels like a bit of little bit of prologue information, which relates back to the first issue, and we see that he has been given this power, which is also connected to the mezuzah that he has there, which anyone who doesn't know what a mezuzah is, it's actually something that's put on the doors of homes of Jewish occupants, and of course he's wearing this one around his neck. As we move into the next part of the page there, we are starting to enter Olena's house, or we learn the character's name is Olena, not in this part but a little bit further on. As the story advances to around the middle, we see what Julia is doing around Olena's house, and she's trying to learn a little bit more about where they are at, so that they can have a better understanding of the person that they are presently staying with, as they help her out. And last but not least, we have the return of the Golem from the first issue. So for the internal art, I give it a 7.5 out of 10. For the story, first things first, do we get anything in relation to time-wise? No, we don't. Next is the location, which is between Russia and Ukraine. Last but not least is the cast of characters, being Alexander and his sister, being the Lows, spelled Lowe. And of course we have the character of Orlena. For the overall story rating in this, I give a 7.5 out of 10. And in this, you do actually learn that there are some people who are against the communists. And they're sort of like blaming people who are against communism in this particular time period as to when this is taking place. But we certainly know that in history, communism has harmed a lot of people. And just a reminder, I did give this story a 7.5 out of 10. Now it's time to move on to the last comic, being Mech Cadets issue 5. So first things first, does this cover in any way, shape or form connect to something that is happening inside with the story? Sure enough it does, to which I give a 7 out of 10. Now we'll move to the area of the internal art as well as what's happening story-wise with the characters. So as the story begins, we have the characters of Hero Force also helping those out with the robos. In this particular story, we do catch up with Sanford Yu, along with many of the other characters that make up this mech force. As we jump towards the middle of the story, we are starting to learn and see more happening with the characters of the Sharg, who still come to Earth to basically invade it, and also have attacked the robos in the past. And last but not least, we move towards the end, and it looks like we might have a bit of a big kaiju Sharg on the way. So for the internal art, I give it a 7 out of 10. Now it's time to move in relation to the area of the story. First things first, do we get anything time-wise as to when some of these things take place throughout the day? No, we don't. Next is the location. A majority of this takes place on Earth, but a little of it in space. The cast of characters consisting of Captain Tanaka, Sanchez, Park Olivesi, Stanford Yu, and General Felix. For the overall rating for this story, I give a 7 out of 10. Until then, let's keep it colourful and have yourself an awesome day.